Welcome to the Team Ottawa podcast with Mayor Mark Sutcliffe. I'm Sam Laprade. How are you, Mayor?
I'm doing great. How are you, Sam?
I'm good. I've been driving around the city a lot lately. And I'll tell you, in my community, one of the biggest challenges is people speeding.
Yeah.
You've heard this before, right?
I hear about this all the time.
Yes.
From parents, from residents in seniors' homes, from people worried about safety in their neighborhoods. And unfortunately, we're no longer able to use speed cameras to crack down on speeding. I'm disappointed by that decision by the provincial government, but we have to live with it. It's their decision, and we have to move on and adapt. But it's challenging. And what we've seen, the data shows that in the places where we had speed cameras, and I'm talking about specifically school zones, so areas around schools where kids are walking to and from school every day, before we had the speed cameras, compliance was low. People were not sticking to the speed limit. Then when we had the speed cameras in place, the compliance rose to about 85 to 90%. So 90% of the cars driving through a neighborhood were staying under the speed limit.
Okay.
Now that the speed cameras are gone, the compliance is back down to 30 or 40%.
Wow.
So it's dropped that much. There's that much more speeding going on in areas where we want our kids to be. There's nothing more important than our kids being safe. Nobody wants their kid walking to school to be threatened by a speeding vehicle. So we don't have the speed cameras anymore, but we are able to collect speed data. And what I want to do is, and we're working with the Ottawa Police on this, I want to collect that data, identify which are the areas where there is the most flagrant speeding going on, where the compliance is the lowest, and send our traffic enforcement unit to those areas to crack down on speeding again and make our neighborhoods safe. Look, speed cameras people have mixed feelings about that issue, but I don't think anybody disagrees with the idea that nobody should be speeding in a school zone when kids are going to and from school. So we want to have this in place for September when kids are back to school.
Excellent. I appreciate that. Certainly as a mom as well, I appreciate that very much. We've talked a lot about July 1st, and we normally talk about Canada Day and all the festivities. This year was very different, of course, with the floods that were in Ottawa and the residents that are still impacted, over 7,000 residents. You're wanting to sort of take this opportunity to really look at what's happening in the city and the collaborations that can happen.
Yeah, I think this is a moment where we need to take a step back. Obviously, we need to continue helping all of the families that are affected, and we're doing that. We're working with the Red Cross and with the provincial government, with other agencies to support the families who have been affected by the flooding. But we need to take a step back and do a bunch of different things. Number one, we need to make sure the city is more resilient. This has been described as a once in 200 years event, but we know with climate change, it's going to happen more often. So we need to be ready in the future. And we're gonna do a full assessment of everything that happened on July the 1st and what measures we need to take with our wastewater infrastructure and our stormwater infrastructure to make sure we are ready going forward and we are able to prevent this from happening to so many residents in the future. In addition, I think there are federal and provincial programs that need to be reviewed and reassessed. We need the federal and provincial governments to be more ready for these events in the future. We also need to make sure that the insurance system caters more to the needs of residents who are going through this. We've heard from a number of different residents that their deductible is really high, or their insurance doesn't cover flooding or certain kinds of flooding, or it only covers it to a certain amount. So there are gaps that we've identified through this process, and we need to use that as a way of working together to close those gaps and make sure people are better protected in the future.
I really appreciate the update on that for sure. I want to talk a little bit about economic development from the perspective of, we know there's lots, of course, happening here in Ottawa. You have a wonderful partner right across the river in the Mayor of Gatineau.
Yeah, we've been working together since Marquis Bissonnette was elected Mayor of Gatineau, and this is a really critical time for our local economy. With Donald Trump's tariff threats, with the economic uncertainty that comes from that, with rising prices, with people having less money to spend, there's a lot of uncertainty in the business community, a lot of economic uncertainty in our region. And I think it's the perfect opportunity for us to say, we need to work together, Ottawa and Gatineau. We're the only metropolitan region in the country that is 2 cities in 2 provinces, but 1 economic region. And I always say what's good for Gatineau is good for Ottawa. What's good for Ottawa is good for Gatineau. But there are still a lot of barriers between the 2 provinces and between the 2 cities. We need to eliminate those barriers. We need to work together on attracting more jobs to the region, whether they go to Gatineau or Ottawa, attracting more tourists to the region, whether they stay in Gatineau or Ottawa, attracting more events to our region, whether they're in Gatineau or Ottawa. What's good for the region is good for both cities. So we're going to work together. We just had a meeting the other day with all of our economic development partners around the table. We're going to work together to make sure we're promoting the economic interests of this entire region and addressing the threats that we're facing, protecting small businesses, creating more jobs, and strengthening our regional economy.
Excellent, excellent. Speaking of small businesses, this week you had the opportunity to visit a business that has really grown up here in Ottawa, and it was Atal Foods, and you toured the warehouse.
Yeah, I love doing this. I love seeing local entrepreneurs. You know, these 2 guys started the business, Dominic and Frank, with a very small amount of money. They built it up into a powerhouse. They create their own products. They warehouse and distribute other products. They're wholesalers. They serve a number of different grocery stores and restaurants and event facilities in our city. It's a great local business, and I'm very proud of the work that they're doing, and I love doing that. And these are exactly the kinds of jobs we need to protect and support when I talk about our economic prosperity, our region. These are exactly the kinds of jobs that we need to continue to protect and support.
Such passionate guys.
Yeah, great guys.
It was wonderful. And this week I was in the Byward Market. I was hanging out. I felt a bit guilty as people were running past me because, of course, for Ironman.
Yeah, the Ironman happened again, unfortunately on a rainy day, but, you know, they can't control the weather, and the people who do these triathlons are rock stars. They're unbelievable. Their endurance, their commitment to training, their dedication. We had 2,500 athletes participating in the Ironman, many of them from out of town, many of them from other countries. It was a great day for tourism in Ottawa. It was a great day for our city. These are people who come here. They've never been to Ottawa before. They take lots of pictures. They bring their families. They tell their friends. You know, it's a wonderful event. We're going to do it again next year. It's just another example of the kinds of events that we're able to bring to Ottawa because it is a beautiful city and because we're working together on attracting these events and attracting more tourists to the city.
Does this mean I have a whole year to train?
You do. Get ready.
It'll take a lot longer than that. Thanks so much, Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Sam.
That's the Team Ottawa podcast with Mayor Mark Sutcliffe.